धियोपगृह्यन् सिणथोभितेन मुखेन चेतो लुलभे देवहूत्या शोनो ज्ञात्वा व्यवस्थित्रं महिष्यादुहितं स्फुटः तस्मै गुणागणाढ्याय ददौ तुल्यां प्रहर्षितः शतरूपा महाराज्ञे पारे ब्रह्मान् महाधना दाम्पत्योपरि यदा प्रीत्या भूषाभाष परीक्षदान् प्रतां दुहितरं सम्राट् सदृक्षाय गतव्यवत्थत उपगृह्यं च महाबाहो व्योमकण्ठो मिताशयः अंशुमन् वंस्तुतिरहं मुञ्चनं वास्वकलामुः आसिञ्चदं ववत्सेति
Thank you for inviting me to your home.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to be.
Thank you.
Okay. I watched you this morning doing prayers and things.
Okay.
One of the things that bothers me, is I'm concerned about, is the swastika on the wall.
Okay.
To me, it's evil. You see, I'm part Jewish, and it's a terrible symbol, and I'm wondering why.
Okay.
Why it is there.
Okay. वो सिंबल है, उसका पूर्व रूप ओम है, और ओम का ही वह
Swastika is an abbreviated form of Om. Om is the Brahman sound of creation, and swastika, being an abbreviation of Om, represents the Brahman or the creator of the universe. The Western belief is that the creation is a linear place. It has a beginning and an end, whereas Hindu belief is that the world is non-linear, it is circular, it does not have any beginning or end, and that is what swastika's 4 arms represent, that it is non-linear and it is unending.
तो ब्रह्म का सिंबल है, वो परमात्मा का सिंबल है। जैसे उसमें आप देखें कि सीधे राउंड से वो घूम रहा है, अर्थात पूरा एक जो सृष्टि है एक राउंड में, एक चक्र में घूम रही है, इसका वह प्रतीक है।
Another question, and I think that most people from Christian religions would have this. The images of the gods, or Protestants or Anglicans would certainly regard them as idols. In other words, these are things that have a god inside them, and that you give the god homage and food and prayers to make the god powerful so that it will help you in your life. Is this true? Are they idols? Are they gods in themselves?
हाँ, बिल्कुल सचमुच भगवान है। यदि आपकी भावना इतनी प्रबल है, तो निश्चित रूप से जिस मूर्ति की आप पूजा कर रहे हैं,
Definitely, these idols represent God. They were made with that intention. They were installed with that intention, and people pray with that intention. Definitely, if you have devotion, they represent God for you, and by praying to them, you can invoke their powers.
तो निश्चित रूप से वह चीज आप में आएगी, और आप जो जिस भावना से उसको पूजेंगे वो आप प्राप्त कर सकते हैं, इसमें कोई संशय नहीं है।
Why would there be so many of them? Why are they so different? You know, God is everywhere. God is the prime creator, Brahman, perhaps in your terms. So why have so many different girls up there dressed in sarees?
देखिए, हमारे हिंदू धर्म की भी यही मान्यता है कि परमात्मा एक है और वह निर्गुण है, वह निर्विकार है.
Hindus believe that there is one God and one God only, that God has no attributes, no properties by which you can recognize and define him. He has no defects, and God has no form whatsoever. God is not a human being. He is beyond our comprehension, because we comprehend by qualities and properties, and forms, faces, and personalities. What we have there is various properties that we recognize for the God in the world. When we see the world, we can see God in each one of us, in every flower, in every building, but we are not able to perceive God in that way. So these statues, or these idols, are a help to us. They are not gods in themselves unless you have a devotion to them. It is like you see something beautiful. It may have nothing to do with that object. It's your eyes that are seeing the beauty. Similarly, these statues or idols, they have nothing to do with the fact that you are praying to them. It does not matter to them what you are doing. It is your own devotion that matters. Each idol represents God's quality that we all adore, or they represent a being who has shown that humans can have that quality. By looking at them, those of us who can be inspired by their divinity or can aspire to be divine like them, for them it is God. Those who cannot get inspired by these statues, or they cannot believe that this statue is the God, for them it is just a statue. It is not God at all.
इसलिए हम उसका पूजा करते हैं, इसलिए उसके हम पीछे दौड़ते हैं, इसलिए उसका करते हैं. उसी तरह से जैसे हम लड़कियों को जैसे इन्होंने कहा, वह उनकी शक्तियां हैं जिनका आधार लेकर के उन्होंने कहा. जैसे राम आए तो उन्होंने सीता को साथ में लिया, क्योंकि सिंगल.
There is a lot more to Hinduism than praying to idols. An idol is like someone pointing to an object of interest. Idol is like that finger. If you just keep looking at the finger, you will miss the point totally. What is needed is to catapult yourself beyond the idol to what it is representing, like forgetting the finger and searching where the finger is pointing to.
पर्सन कुछ नहीं कर सकता है, प्रकृति दो में है.
And the other question you asked about these girls in saris. Everything in nature comes in pairs. There is birth and death. There is happiness and sadness. Similarly, there is man and woman. There are manly qualities and there are feminine qualities. That is why in a Hindu temple you see male form of God and its female consort with him.
God is both unmanifest and manifest. Unmanifest aspect of God is represented as a male figure, and manifest aspect of God is represented as a female figure. To help you understand the difference between manifest and unmanifest, I will take the example of gravity. Gravity is a law of physics. It is a mathematical formula. That's how we can understand it. No matter how good our understanding is and how many times we repeat the formula, we cannot experience gravity. To have an experience of gravity, we must enter in a space-time field where gravity is acting, like in the solar system. That's where we can experience gravity. We can experience an apple falling. We can enjoy the thrill of a roller coaster ride, all thanks to gravity. The only way to understand unmanifest is by experiencing its manifest aspect. Newton could deduce laws of gravity because he had devoted himself to the study of the effects of gravity in a planetary system. Hindus believe that we cannot reach the unmanifest directly, and we must first experience its manifest, where its power is on display. That is what we call Shakti, and is represented as a female consort of the unmanifest God.
So a lot has to do with my subconscious processes. So the gods there represent my personality or my perception of the world.
हमारे ऊपर ही डिपेंड करती हैं और हमको ही वो प्रेजेंट कर रही हैं, लेकिन उसको हम समझ पा रहे हैं कि नहीं पा रहे हैं, हमारे ऊपर ही डिपेंड करता है। वो वास्तव में हम ही
Yes, you are absolutely right. What we see in the temple represents us, but it is difficult for everyone to understand. Those who can understand that, they are understanding divinity
पूरे जो
as
ब्रह्मांड में
Hindus
है वो
understand
छोटे
it.
से अणु में कैसे है, जैसे पूरी
So it's the sexual energy that is represented in a lingam.
नहीं, देखिए जो एनर्जी है शरीर के, उसके दो मार्ग हैं। एक है काम, जिसको सेक्स बोलते हैं, एक है राम, शिव, ब्रह्म।
Energy in us gets expended in two different ways. One is a divine expression through godly activities, and the other is through desire-driven activities, which Hindus call calm. So these are two forms in which we spend our energy. Lingam, as a symbol, is showing that our energy, which goes into desire-driven activities, sexual desires included, that expression, we should change into a divine expression.
जनरेट करते हैं। ब्रह्म मीन्स जिसमें, हाँ, ब्रह्म मीन्स जिसमें सब कुछ है, जिसको ज्योति स्वरूप कहते हैं, चाहे जो कुछ भी कहते हैं। तो वह जो चीज है,
Lingam is a symbol of God. God is represented in the form of energy, or light, or a flame. That is true of Hindus, of Christians, and even Muslims try to concentrate on God through a point of light. So that symbol represents God as such, as light or flame of God. And due to my devotion to God, I decorate it.
Okay. There were also some Buddhist statues in the temple. Are they Buddha as Buddhists worship, or and you know, I thought they weren't part of the Hindu thing. Can you tell me about that?
Okay. ऐसा बौद्ध लोगों का मानना है कि हम हिंदू नहीं हैं, लेकिन
Yes, it is the same Buddha statue. It's not someone else. Yes, I know some Buddhists believe that they are not Hindus, but personal beliefs do not matter. It is a problem that anything we communicate has to be expressed using a word, and Buddhism is one of such words, as is Hinduism a word, Christianity a word, and Islam a word. But Buddha did not himself say that this is Buddhism and that is Hinduism. Buddha simply gave teachings that he felt are important. So did Muhammad, and so did Jesus. Anyone who has understood any one of those teachings is divine. Many Buddhists who call themselves Buddhists have not understood Buddha's teachings fully. They may have faith in Buddha, they may adore him, they may be aspiring to be like Buddha, but they are not. Once they become 100% Buddha, they will reach a stage from where they can look down and say that there is no difference between Buddhism and Hinduism and Christianity and Islam. But when we see it from down below, where we are far away from understanding or reaching that stage. Yes, we can see the differences.
Why do you put these dots on your head, my head, and the heads of all the statues?
शरीर में एनर्जी की जो है सबसे मेन पॉइंट यहाँ है, और मेन पॉइंट है तो यहाँ हम चंदन लगाते हैं. चंदन बहुत शीतल होता है, तो हमारी मन बुद्धि शांत रहे, हमारे शरीर की ऊर्जा जो है.
The place where this dot or tika is applied, in the center of the forehead, is the center of our energy. So we apply tika or the dot there with paste of sandalwood. It has a very cooling effect on our body. So by applying it on that energy center, we try to bring calmness to ourselves. And it is also called the third eye, or the eye of knowledge. We want to nourish it by applying sandalwood paste on it. It also reminds us that all our actions should be driven by knowledge we have, which is a hallmark of every civilization.
I noticed he was putting tikas on the statues and on the lingam too. He drew patterns and things on them. In fact, well, yeah, why on the statues as well? The statues don't feel cool and aren't going to gather wisdom, or are they really idols and alive?
मूर्तियाँ, हम मूर्ति को मूर्ति समझ करके टीका नहीं लगाते हैं. हम
God is beyond all these properties of coolness and wisdom and everything else we human beings can perceive. He does not need any one of these things, but I do it out of my devotion to God. If I believe that this is God, then I want to associate with him and to make him look more beautiful. I want to project my desires onto him, and that is why we decorate our gods. There is no need to do any one of these things. This is simply true. But as long as we are living in this world, it is my devotion that is important to me. When I do this, it is I who gets benefited by it.
तो हिंसा तो होती नहीं है. गीता कहती है, चाहे बुद्धि कहते हैं कि आत्मा अजर अमर है.
A person becomes what he is destined to be, and I have become a priest.
So I guess in a horoscope you would see the patterns of what God wants, because the time makes the personality.
Horoscope is not something mystic. It is simply a process to understand nature, and nature is just another form of God, as sun is another form of nature, moon is another form of nature, and each one of them has its own properties, its own ways. If we understand that, we will be able to understand how it is going to affect us. As much as if we see the sun is very bright in the sky, we know it is going to be hot for me if I go out. That is how horoscope tries to understand nature, and tries to see how it will have an effect on anyone.
Where does he come from? Which part of India? From a village? From a big family? A small family?
मैं भारतवर्ष में उत्तर प्रदेश में पूर्वी उत्तर प्रदेश में देवरिया जिला का रहने वाला हूँ और हमारे परिवार में मैं 3 भाई.
I come from a village in the district of Devariya in the eastern UP state of India. We are 3 brothers. My father passed away a long time ago. My mother still lives in the village with my wife. My older brother has a business, and my younger brother works for the government. I did my studies in the cultural capital of India, that is Varanasi, and after that I worked for 8 years in the political capital of India, which is Delhi.
सांस्कृतिक कैपिटल है वाराणसी. हमारी शिक्षा दीक्षा वहाँ हुई है और पिछले 8 वर्षों से जो राजनीतिक कैपिटल दिल्ली है वहाँ मैं काम कर रहा था, पूजा पाठ और पढ़ाई लिखाई. हाँ, पुजारी थे और सामाजिक काम करते थे, लोगों के सुख दुख में सारा काम.
Social work as well as a priest in a temple.
I worked as a priest and social worker and taught Sanskrit literature in a university also.
संस्कृत साहित्य.
How did he come to Australia?
Through divine intervention. There was no planning, nothing.
He just woke up one morning and he was here in Australia, or what happened?
जरा विस्तार से बताइए, आप एक रात को सोए थे और सवेरे ऑस्ट्रेलिया में जगह, ऐसा हुआ क्या?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ क्योंकि हम लोग के लाइफ में
I take the attitude of life to take things as they come. I do not say that this is good and this is bad. With this I should be happy, and with this I should be sad. So I was not very happy or sad either when I woke up in Australia one day.